It all started with a feeling, a chilling whisper at the nape of my neck, an unshakable sense that something was off. I had always taken pride in being a trusting husband, someone who believed in the sanctity of our vows. But over the past few months, subtle changes had crept into our marriage, shifts too significant to ignore. Lydia, my wife of 10 years, had grown distant. Her phone became an extension of her hand, always in her grasp, her laughter reserved for messages she never shared. Late nights at the office became more frequent, and she started putting extra effort into her appearance in a way she never had before. When I asked about it, she claimed it was for herself, for her confidence. I wanted to believe her. I really did. I convinced myself I was overthinking, being paranoid. But then I found the receipt. It was for an expensive dinner at a restaurant neither of us had ever visited, a romantic spot downtown known for intimate proposals and anniversary celebrations. The crumpled slip was buried deep in her purse, tucked beneath an old lip balm and a half-eaten granola bar. When I confronted her about it, she hesitated, stammering something about a work meeting. Her eyes darted to the floor like a guilty child caught in a lie. A work meeting. Right. I could have lost my temper then and there, demanded answers, forced the truth into the open. But I held back. If I accused her too soon, she'd deny everything, leaving me feeling like a fool. So I did what any rational man in my position would do. I became a detective. I started small, keeping a quiet eye on her phone when she wasn't looking. She had grown cautious, always angling the screen away from me, but I was patient. Soon, I noticed a particular number appearing repeatedly, messages at all hours. Simple, affectionate notes. Can't wait to see you. Missed you today. Each one made my stomach turn. The name saved the number was Cara. I knew better. One night, while Lydia was in the shower, I unlocked her phone using the passcode I had memorized weeks before. My hands trembled as I scrolled through her messages. And there it was, undeniable proof. A conversation with someone named Mark. Mark, the charmer. Mark, who sent messages like, "I love the way you laugh. And when can I see you again?" Lydia's responses made me sick. She told him she missed him, that he made her feel alive, that she couldn't wait for their next lunch meeting. I thought about barging into the bathroom right then, demanding an explanation. But I didn't. A simple confrontation was enough. I wanted her to feel the same devastation she had inflicted on me. I wanted her world to crumble the way she had shattered mine. So I waited, and I planned. The opportunity came sooner than expected. Lydia had been working on a high-profile project at her marketing firm, a major presentation for a new client she had been boasting about for weeks. She was scheduled to present at their downtown office. She had been nervous, excited, eager to impress. That morning, I kissed her goodbye and wished her luck. She smiled, her lips brushing my cheek. I wondered if she kissed Mark the same way. As soon as she left, I put my plan into motion. A quick trip to a florist and a print shop, and I had everything I needed. By noon, I was parked outside the client's office building, watching through the window as Lydia commanded the room, the picture of confidence in her sleek black dress. Then the delivery arrived. The courier carried the box straight to Lydia. I watched as she opened it, expecting flowers, perhaps a congratulatory note. Instead, she found printed screenshots of her messages with Mark, each damning word laid bare. On top, a handwritten note. "You're not as clever as you think." Silence fell over the room, her face drained of color, hands trembling as she flipped through the pages. The client team, a group of serious men in suits, exchanged confused glances before turning their attention to her. I couldn't hear the conversation, but I saw the desperation in her eyes as she scrambled to explain, to salvage what was left of her dignity. It didn't work. And then there was Mark. I had done my research on him, too. A smooth-talking account manager with a wife and 2 kids. I knew his address, his social media, even where his children went to school. I debated exposing everything, but settled on something more personal. After Lydia's presentation imploded, I followed her to the coffee shop where she and Mark frequently met. Hidden in the back, I watched as he arrived, sliding into the seat across from her. Their hushed conversation was frantic. Lydia's hands moving animatedly, trying to explain what had happened. Mark's face darkened as he grasped the severity of the situation. That's when I made my move. "Mark, isn't it?" I said, standing over their table. His head snapped up. Confusion flickered across his face before morphing into recognition. Then fear. Lydia paled, her mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. "Who the hell are you?" Mark demanded, his bravado faltering. I dropped a stack of photos onto the table. Images of him and Lydia slipping into hotels, laughing in his car, sneaking out of bars. "I'm the husband," I said. "The one you've been lying to. The one you've been screwing over while playing house with my wife." Mark's face lost all color. Lydia reached for me, tears streaking down her cheeks. "David, please," she pleaded. "Let's talk about this at home." "Oh, we'll talk," I said, shaking her off. "But first, I think Mark here has some explaining to do. See, I've already sent copies of these photos to his wife and to HR at your company. I figured they'd appreciate knowing who they're really employing." "You can't do that," Mark stammered. "You'll ruin me." "You ruined yourself." I shot back. "Both of you did. Did you really think there wouldn't be consequences? That you could wreck lives without anyone noticing?" Lydia broke down completely, sobbing into her hands. Mark sat frozen, staring at the wreckage of his life laid out before him. I turned to leave, but paused at the door for one final blow. "Oh, and Lydia?" I glanced over my shoulder. "Don't bother coming home. The locks are changed, your things are in storage, and I've already contacted a lawyer. Good luck explaining this to your parents." Her cries followed me out, but I didn't look back. For the first time in months, I felt free. In the weeks that followed, Lydia tried reaching out. Apologies, explanations, empty promises to change. I ignored them all. Mark's wife filed for divorce. HR conducted an investigation. He lost his job. As for me, I focused on rebuilding my life, one step at a time. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Lydia and Mark had made their choices. Now, they had to live with them. And I was finally free to live with mine.